Welcome back to Montgomery and Company. I am so excited to welcome founder and CEO Sukemasa Kabayama, man. Listen, I know him as Masa extraordinaire. And if you don't know, at Uplift, Masa and his team bring AI-powered technology into movement and sports, all in the name of performance. Before co-founding Uplift, Masa worked at some of the biggest brands in the world, Lego, Apple, and Tesla. Masa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so I want to just start with a question that I always ask because I've been in the sports world my entire life. What made you interested in getting into the sports world?
Yeah. So I was unfortunately not really genetically gifted in terms of athleticism, but that didn't prevent me from really getting into kind of the fitness wellness space for even since a young age. And it was really in my 40s where I was a little bit of a what you'd call a CrossFit junkie, and even though I don't totally look like it now, but and yeah, and then I really got into that kind of modality of pushing yourself really hard, to gain and maximize your performance. But what I also noticed is that I was kind of getting injured quite a bit as well. For example, like a rotary cuff tear, lower or upper back pain. And in one sense, it kind of makes sense because you are pushing yourself to the extreme. But I kept thinking, back then, there's got to be an easier way to understand your form and to be able to have some way of using technology to intervene to help you continue to optimize your performance while keeping you injury free. So that was my entry into the general athleticism world.
Yeah, I love that because, yes, athlete injuries, it's a part of our sport. I mean, we, for the Atlanta Dream, for the whole first half of our season, we didn't even have our whole team playing until the second half. So, injury prevention at the highest level is always sought after. And so, how did the concept of uplift in particular come about?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate to meet my two co-founders, Jonathan and Rahul. They definitely have the sort of engineering chops, if you will. Jonathan is an expert at computer vision, Rahul at machine learning and human-computer interaction. So we kind of thought back then, and this was like 7 years ago, that mobile devices like your iPhones and iPads are going to get even more powerful. And we thought the day's going to come that an athlete that wants to really understand their movement, they don't have to go to these sports performance labs, which they have like 8 to 15 different camera rig systems, or putting all these, hundreds of sensors and markers on the body. Because, one, it's sort of unnatural, but two, you're not getting your key kind of performance moments when you're actually practicing or playing. So we thought mobile devices are going to be the future. That's the big bet we made on. And sure enough, the devices have gotten powerful enough that we're able to use these iPhones and iPads to be able to accurately and reliably track your movements, but also provide you game-changing insights.
It's interesting because, yeah, I was one of those athletes that was able to go and have all these cameras around, and that's a luxury. Everybody's not able. Having your phone be the device that catches all that, it almost makes it for every, like, in my mind, it makes it for that kid that's hungry. If you want to go after and get it, if you want to do extra training, extra work, it seems like you could have a virtual trainer right there in your phone. Is that kind of the case?
100%. You're really addressing the ability to democratize or give way more access to people who are maybe amateurs or the everyday athlete that aren't, professional like you are or you were. And so, what is sort of a kind of a core belief that we have here at Uplift is really by understanding human movement, that's essential to maximizing performance, health, and really longevity. And so, our current product, which we call Uplift Capture, entails using two iPhones and two iPads, and then you put them on two tripods. You can put them on the court, you can put them on the field, you can put them in a batting cage. Really, wherever the action is happening, we're able to capture at, again, very high, accurate, and reliable, data analytics. But also, we've over the last few years expanded our footprint to over 50 organizations, including the MLB League, a third of the MLB teams, a number of NCAA D1, D2 college programs, and a lot of sports and training academies. But we're not resting on our laurels there, even though we're seeing very good pickup and traction. Is that today, and this is kind of the first where I'm actually announcing this. we've been in 2 years of R&D for a single camera product, a single camera app that can run on your iPhone and iPad. And this is the one that I'm really excited about to share that we're launching on September 24th. And this will even provide way more accessibility than, let's say, having to deal with two devices. You just deal with one device. And also, we're going to the first time as a computer vision AI-based company, we're also encompassing Gen AI or large language model logic. So we're going to be able to now build for you a personalized workout plan that's meant just for you based on our 3D motion capture technology and how you're moving, and then providing you insights to get better.
Whoa, hold on. All right, I don't know if you can hear that, but
Oh,
we are, yes, we're turned up because I love a good you heard it here first. I'm just going to break it down so people can understand because, Masa, you're very smart, first of all. Like, I want people to understand basically you can now have a trainer that not only tracks your movements and makes sure that you are aligned and keeping you, just giving you the best training, but they can prepare now a whole workout based on your deficiencies, your weaknesses. Do they figure that out by the assessment on the, like, because I want people to understand in the ever growing world of sports, as a professional athlete like myself, like, you always just want that little bit of an advantage. You always are trying to find what can I do that can separate me from the next athlete that's training. Well, I think this could be dangerous for an athlete like me because I would be on this app, I would be on Uplift all the time trying to find that extra edge. It seems like this is going to democratize almost training.
100%. And let's say you were a young girl practicing basketball in West Virginia, just as an example, growing
Okay.
up. Random example, of course. But you might not have accessibility to the best, coaches, the best shooting coaches, the best strength and conditioning trainers. And, very much like you said, Renee, I mean, this is something that is a powerful tool in your pocket. It's more than a coach in your pocket. I mean, it could be a trainer, it could be a physical therapist, it could be any type of
Wow.
movement professional. And what we're really focusing on is some very key underlining elements that are integral to optimizing your performance, like mobility, stability, power, agility. I know I'm singing to the choir here, but all the things that give you that extra edge.
No, it's crazy because yeah, you're preaching to the choir, but you're also preaching to AAU. I think about AAU teams. Like I have a team, RME Elite, that these young players starting at a young age, they could go out into their garage. They can go out, like, you don't have to even be going to a gym. So I'm curious because you talked about working with D1 schools, y'all have worked with professional teams. You've worked at the highest level. What similarities do you see in those top C-suite talent and then professional athletes? Because now that I'm in the business world, I see so much similarity to sports that is crazy. So I'm curious from your point of view.
Yeah, I think from the business side, whether you're a performance director, working at a team, or if you're a, head of the athletic department at a D1 school, you're really conscious of the investments that you make in technology, and you really need to have, an ROI, right? Because a lot of the motion capture technology that available today, or the personnel that's, required today, it's very costly. So we really have, I think, a value. Based approach, not in terms of just pricing, but again, accessibility. It's hardware that you tend to like have in your pocket or you have on your desk, like your iPad. We really want to keep that threshold of accessibility low on the hardware side. And so what Uplift is, we're just a software company where you would subscribe. So for organizations that we work with today, I think a number of them that we've introduced, our new app is actually just called Uplift to make it easy and short. Are
That was
excited.
easy.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, to start off with. But, again, Renee, it comes back to our goal and our vision of founding the company 7 years ago about really improving human movement, performance, and health across all parts of our lives. And so we're just so excited that with this new app, not only will it be available for teams and organizations, but also the everyday athlete. You can just go to the App Store and download and start to use it from the 24th.
Okay, so you talk about the everyday athlete, and I love that you mentioned it. The 24th, y'all check this out for real, because the everyday athlete is ever growing. And something that's always going to be a thing is competition and those competitive juices. It's like if I'm on the app, I'm just curious because I did a couple jumps already. If I'm on the app, will it tell where I measure up against other everyday athletes, or well, how does that work? Is there any way to like see how I'm doing in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, definitely. We understand by nature athletes and players are competitive by nature, so we definitely tapped into that. Um, Maybe I should go up a little bit higher altitude once first because this app is really designed around improving all sorts of key movement patterns that are integral into improving specific sports, but general athleticism. And so, by way of example, the very first movement that we're really excited to introduce is a vertical jump assessment. Um, I mean, I don't need to say it on this podcast, but as you
No,
know,
I'm
very
gonna do it.
relevant.
Listen. Go ahead. You can keep talking,
Okay.
but I'm gonna show people kind of what they're talking about. So, the normal movement of any athlete when we jump, it's like you shoulder width apart. I'm just explaining for people of what I've learned in life. Shoulder width apart is how you would want your legs, and then you want to put your arms, and you use your arms as momentum, and then you kind of just like that, right?
Exactly. What you just did and demonstrated, thank you, Renee. Could have a better person demonstrate it. Is a counter movement jump with your arms swinging. And so it's very relevant for sports that entail jumping higher, from basketball to volleyball. But it's also a tool used at all the combines to measure general athleticism as well. And so we will have a number of, let's say you do three jumps to measure your jump height with your arm swinging, then you have a hands on hip mode, and then you jump
So
there.
this
And
one right here.
exactly, beautiful. And what we're looking
Okay.
at there what we're looking at there is looking at how you landed. We're looking at your mobility, your stability, any asymmetries between your left and right hip, your left and right knee. Is there a knee collapse, which is also a flag
Yes.
of
So
any
I have
onset
a
of
knee
injuries?
collapse. It's interesting you say that because when I would do this with a trainer, they would say in a knee collapse, so people know it's like kind of when your knees come in when you land. The reason that's not great is because that's how injuries happen, where they want you to stay aligned the whole time. So I actually do have a knee collapse. You can't see it because I have pants on, but that's really crazy that that's all the things that they can check with one phone. Like that's
Just one
how.
phone. We well, that's why we've been in R&D for 2 years. It's taken a while, but we're bringing full 3D motion capture. But we're also again harnessing kind of Gen AI to really look at those and identify those points and be able to give you that prescriptive, personalized exercise that is addressing, let's say, if there's a knee collapse. What are some of the lower body kind of strength and training conditioning that you could do? But to get back to your original question, Renee, yeah. So once you do your jumps, you'll be able to monitor improvement over time if you follow, the exercises that are recommended. But we'll definitely have a leaderboard. So you can see if you're part of a basketball academy, you can see where you stack rank against your colleagues. But we'll also, as more people come onto the platform, you'll be able to say, using that other example that I mentioned earlier, like let's say you live in West Virginia, you can see where you are in your demographic, right? Are you at the top one
Oh, wow.
percentile, the top 5 percentile? Maybe you want to know where you are nationwide. And so all of this type of insight will be available for the first time in your hands.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so I want to go to you a little bit because you're similar to myself where you wear two different hats in the company. So with the Atlanta Dream, I'm a co-owner and I'm a vice president. With Uplift, you're a co-founder and you're the CEO. I ask all the time when I get founders on, but what would you say the most difficult part about wearing two hats as an executive? Some people are small business owners and are doing a lot on their own. What would you say is your either key to handling both, and what would you say is the hardest part about being a CEO?
Yeah, wow, great question. Um, you know, I I think it's really having concrete and really understandable core values of the company. I mean, really having a North Star. I believe the talent that we were able to attract and this stellar team that we have today is really probably less about myself, but it's more. I like to think it's about the vision of the company. Really, I mean, we are here to really put a major dent in the movement universe, and so it's people who have done somewhat similar things in very different roles. For example, our head of product, um, Matt, he was one of the early product managers at Whoop. And of course, we all know Whoop helps
Oh,
help
wow.
democratize,
Yes.
biometrics from your sleep recovery or your HRV. Our, head of performance, uh, uh, data implementation of science, you know, Rob, he used to be the performance director at the Cardinals, right? And then he also was the adjunct professor at Duke School University at School of Medicine. So all kinds of different disciplines coming together makes us really, I think, exciting about how we, come back to our end goal of democratizing biomechanics for everyone to understand so they can perform better.
No, that's fire. I'm gonna be. I'm already on the app. Shouts to Uplift. They gave me early access. I'm flexing right now because I've had the app for a couple weeks now. My son is gonna be on the app. I already told my AU team about it. Is there anything else that we should know about Uplift?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So again, really excited about this new product launch. We're going to be supporting both existing sports teams and organizations that want to deploy this, to a number of their athletes and coaches. We'll have a mechanism to enable that, but also, just for the individual, at home who, or like you said, like they might be working on a garage, or maybe they are working already together with a personal trainer. Um, this app can help augment, and you can just basically text it like to your AI coach and say, "Hey, I'm already doing these kinds of exercises. What else do I need to do to improve?" You have a conversation and a log just like you do with ChatGPT to make it relevant to you. And we want to make sure that the world is, jumping higher and with less, kind of injuries, and people are attaining their goals that they're, seeking out, whatever that might be in
Oh,
terms of
wow.
moving well.
Wow. And so you guys, just so you know, in full transparency, I'm an investor in Uplift. Like, just so y'all know, I'm not just talking about it and saying like, oh, wow, I'm an athlete that has lived it, breathed it. And I understand that when I was in West Virginia, I was doing things on my own. I was running heels. I was trying to find any little extra bit of advantage that I could get. So I know that the ability that this app can have. So like I said, I'm not just on here just talking it. It's like I'm invested in the company. I appreciate you guys for having me. And also, I want to do a little 60-second MoCo shot clock with you, Masa, if you don't mind, where I'm gonna hit you 5 questions, quick hitters, 60 seconds. You ready, Masa?
Let's do it.
All right. What's a sport you can play really well?
Oh man. I think I'll just say cycling for now.
Oh, man. A sport that you're really bad at?
Golf, but trying to
Oh,
improve.
agreed. If you could have one sports superpower, what would it be?
Uh, Boy, I guess in this case, explosiveness,
Yeah, you better
which I
learn to
think will
be
help.
jumping high. If you could brag you beat any athlete at any sport, who would it be?
Wow, that's a hard one. I guess I'm just gonna, because of being, I guess, Japanese, Shohei Ohtani, I think he's doing some pretty amazing things, not just in the world of baseball, um, but also, I think for the Japanese and Asian, profile and relationships, we don't have, I think, not just minorities, but especially Asian representation in professional sports. So, yeah, I think like being an ambassador would be pretty cool.
Wow, I love that. And last question, what would your walkout song be, Masa? What you walking out to?
Oh my God. You're right. These are
Do you
shot
even
clock.
listen to music? Like, what do smart people do for fun?
I don't know if I deserve that moniker, but I do have a Spotify channel on John Mayer that helps me just zone and like focus. And so I would say John Mayer.
Okay, I appreciate it. You guys, check it out. September 24th, Uplift drops. You only need one device to track your movements, your motion, your performance. You have basically a coach, trainer in your pocket wherever you need to go. Masa, thank you so much for joining us on Montgomery and Company.
This was a blast. Thank you for having me again.
Thank y'all for joining us for this episode of Montgomery and Company. Remember, if you've got a question for the MoCo mailbag, send it to us at moco@wabe.org or at Montgomery Co Pod on Instagram. This show is produced by Think Tank Productions in collaboration with WABE. Our executive producers are Amina Brown, Scotty Crow, and Serena Grace. Audio production is by Kevin Rinker and Matt Owen. Video by Ariel Brown, Greg Harding Films, and Rashad Pitts. Until next time, I'm Renee Montgomery, and this is MoCo, where it's all sports, culture, and family business.
WABE.